Oh, man.
Hey, Old Man on the Mat crew, this is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat. Guys, I'm excited. As you always know, I always say I'm excited, and I hear all the time in the feedback, stop saying you're excited. But you know what? I'm excited, guys. I'm really fired up. And once again, guys, thank you guys for all the support you guys been doing, all the comments. I love all the feedback. You have more coming in, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just use them all. But appreciate you guys on all the merch and all that stuff over there at Old Man on the Mat, all the follows, all the good stuff, guys. I really appreciate you guys. But with that, I have a great guest here. We've been going back and forth. I found him on TikTok. I love the things that he put out, the things that he's always talking about, bettering yourself in martial arts and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in particular, and not killing anybody. So I'm really excited about it. This guy is a Marine combat vet. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. He's also the owner of the Big and Bad TikTok page, Still Rolling BJJ. I love that, man. Old Man Still Rolling. With that, I give you Matthew Montgomery. How's it going, brother?
It's going really well. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Oh, good stuff, man. Where are you? Where you live?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, Central Ohio, the heartland.
Wow.
Originally from Colorado, but here in Ohio.
Stuck in Ohio.
Yeah.
You know what? I met a friend out there. We've been seeing each other for for about I can't remember how long, but I've been in Ohio for more times than I thought I would ever be in Ohio. And I keep going back there, and I'm impressed with the little area, great restaurants and stuff. And she's right out there at, where's that? I just had a brain fart. It's close to Columbus, I think.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well,
but
Columbus is a big town. It's actually the biggest city in Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. I guess at this point in my life, I've lived in Columbus longer than I've lived anywhere else.
Okay.
Even though I've lived all over the country in different parts of the world as well. I'm okay calling Ohio home at this point.
Okay. Gotcha.
The trees in the mountains, but I'm a Buckeye now. So
A Buckeye. Okay. Oh, it just hit me. Westerville.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right down the street. Actually, the gym that I train in, Gracie, Ohio, is in Westerville.
Oh, nice, man. Good
Yeah.
stuff, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
We're next door neighbors.
Okay, good stuff, man. But I'll probably be back there again in Westerville, Ohio. But
Okay, well then you got to drop in. You got to come see me, and let's roll at Gracie, Ohio.
Oh man, every time I roll with somebody, I always say I'm getting beat up. That's okay. I'll just get beat up. That's all right though.
That's you and me both.
Hey, brother. Well, you know what? Let's jump into this, man. Tell me your story. Tell me how'd you get involved in. Tell me your whole story. I know people want to hear all that, and I think that's really cool.
I'm a blue belt, but I've been training on and off for more than 20 years at this point.
Wow.
So when I was in the Marine Corps, I remember sitting in a little E-club in Pohang, Korea. It was basically some picnic tables in a metal shed kind of thing where you could get some beer and some meat on a stick. And they had these TVs that had VCRs, and they were playing these VHS tapes of the first few UFCs, and this is like 1999-ish.
Okay.
And all of us were like, holy cow, what is this guy Hoist doing to these guys that look like they should smash him? And being jarheads and in an AAV unit, we wanted, we're not grunts per se, but combat arms, you're interested in things that are going to make you a better fighter, a better war fighter. And so that kind of idea of I need to know what to do on the ground, especially actually if I back up even further, I got into a fight with another private when I was a private in schools, and he was a wrestler, and
Man,
I didn't know what I was doing.
the grinder.
Yep, he shot a double, had me flat on my back, and I was like, shit, I do not know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And that was an eye-opening thing. So I see Hoist Gracie on these little TVs in Korea. And then fast forward, this is probably around 99, 2000, the Marine Corps rolled out MCMAP, which is the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. And what that was is they went from an old system of hand-to-hand called line training that we all joked was going to get somebody killed out in the streets, to something that actually was incorporating some of the aspects of jiu-jitsu and judo and some boxing, but we were learning real basic stuff, I came out of McMap with an arm bar,
Okay.
couple basic
No,
things.
no flying arm bars or anything.
No, no Bolos, none of that. There was no Southside game. It was, at a minimum, it was basic, but it was actually much more effective than what they were teaching before then.
Okay.
And so I went to Iraq. I deployed as with 7th Marines in the first part of the war in Iraq in 2003.
Oh, wow.
We were the initial push into that country. We did the march up to Baghdad, and then
Wow.
ultimately ended up, our unit helped tear down the statue that everybody saw in the news.
Wow. Appreciate you, man.
And rather,
Appreciate you.
I've got some stories from that period of time. Um, So I came back from that and I got out of the Marine Corps
Yeah.
and trying to figure life out. And there's an adjustment period when you get out of the military, especially as an enlisted guy,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning of the war, where they didn't really have any kind of like a decompression time or anything really set up beyond a day of what they call taps and seps and taps, where it's like a 2-hour resume class, and off you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So I landed in Columbus. I had a pregnant wife at home, and now I had to figure out what the hell I was going to do. And
Yeah.
so started working, and I was dealing with some stuff. And so I decided that I wanted to find a jiu-jitsu gym here in Columbus, and so I started looking around. There was Gracie, Ohio, but it was up in Westerville, and I lived on the opposite side of town at that point. And then there was another place. It was a Japanese jiu-jitsu place, and so I started training there.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any idea the difference between Japanese and Brazilian
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu.
Night and day. Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
So I went in there, and I was doing pretty well, and liked it, but I ended up stepping away from that because I ended up actually landing on the Ohio State football staff.
Wow.
And that job, it was 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week.
Wow.
Through the entirety of the season. You don't have days off.
Wow.
Which was a tremendous experience, but obviously I wasn't training.
Yeah.
Once I did that for a couple of years, and then I left and became a defense contractor down in South Carolina.
Okay.
I started training at a place called Charleston MMA, that is eventually became an ATT affiliate, and I'm not sure what they're doing now.
Okay.
But there was a great coach. His name was Casey Callias. He was a Gracie Baja black belt. We weren't Baja affiliated, but really good black belt.
Yeah.
But I wasn't training regularly because I was traveling 200 days
Yeah.
a year as a defense
Yep. That'll do it.
So I was
That'll
gone.
do it.
Eventually moved up to Boise, where I started training at Combat Fitness, which is now SBG Idaho.
Okay.
When I was there, I was still a white belt, had never
Yeah.
been promoted, anything like that. And I should almost say that, like, I took some jujitsu classes in those first periods that I just talked about.
Okay.
And then the first time I really, like, I guess maybe when it started registering, like, what jujitsu really is supposed to be and how you're going to
Okay.
get any good, and how you're going to actually take anything serious as far as consistency and in those things, I would
Yeah.
say SBG was kind of where I started figuring some of that out. Really great coaches there in Boise, Idaho. So if you're listening, go visit SBG in Boise.
There you go.
So started training, and I got into a really bad motorcycle accident.
Oh, wow.
And spent about a month in the hospital.
Wow.
Yeah, almost lost my leg.
Holy cow. What happened?
Took me completely out of obviously training, but I also had to figure out, walking.
Yeah.
So one of the big moments in that process is I was so bummed that I wasn't going to get to keep training. But one of the first people that visited me, the first person that visited outside of my immediate family, was guys from the gym. Jack
Wow.
Lavoie, if you're listening, you were the first dude to show up and be like, man, I hope you recover.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
So
Wow.
it really told me that, like, the relationships that you're building on the mats, number one, they're important. Number two, people actually really do kind of care about your well-being,
Yeah.
at least within in a tight-knit gym community. So anyway, ended up eventually moving back to Ohio. And I would say at the end of COVID is really when I was able to get consistent in the gym
Yeah.
again after injuries and moving and raising kids, coaching baseball, doing all that
Yeah.
stuff. I'm an empty nester now, and
Oh
so
man.
I can go do the thing that I like the most.
Yeah.
The hobby that I have ain't going to the bar. It's going and training and doing jiu-jitsu.
That's
So,
cool, man.
I get a lot out of it because of the mental aspects, but the physical piece of it too. I mean, it's jiu-jitsu is what you are going to make of it. If it's just a workout for you, then that's all it can be. But it can be a lot more if you decide that it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
Oh, it does make a lot of sense because I met guys that, on the mat that are, just there as hobbies. Nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with guys who just show up just to show up, need something to do. Guys need friendships. Some guys just need some, instead of going out punching guys in the face, they come in the gym, It's all walks of life, man. That's pretty cool, man. Good stuff, man. Now, what do you think when you start getting into, because you've been in the military, you've seen some combat, you've done so many different things, but going into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, how did that help? Were you like, did you have any like stress going in, thinking, oh man, I got to calm these nerves and all this stuff, or?
Man, I thought when I was driving to jiu-jitsu for the first time, I was on my way to go get in a fight. I was like, here we go. Like
You're ready.
I had it in my head. And also, back in these days, jiu-jitsu really was not becoming mainstream. And as far as mainstream and how I think about jiu-jitsu today, I mean, I might be in a bubble because all my friends are jiu-jitsu guys and we all know all about it. But back then, man, it was, there might be one or two black belts in a city, let alone in a gym.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to battle, and I had all that fight energy in there. And then once you start training and you realize that, it's, that's completely unnecessary. That's, but yeah, I was pumped. And I would also say probably pretty early on, as I kind of stopped training and started training, I still had some of that nervous energy coming back.
Yeah.
When I change gyms or go to a new place, just because you don't know the guys yet.
Yeah.
Not I'm going to get into a fight. Mostly I'm like, I don't want to embarrass myself and die. But
I get that. I get it, man. Now, when you first stepped on the mat, did you get like mopped or these guys, first time you have to roll, with somebody. So he knows a little bit. Let me just grind him out a little bit,
So actually, in that Japanese jiu-jitsu place, I held my own. I was in my early 20s. I am a what I see on socials, a high calorie grappler. I'm about 250 pounds.
Gotcha.
So I was in good shape and hanging in there. And in that Japanese jiu-jitsu, there was one purple belt, and then you had this black belt that wasn't rolling with anybody.
Yeah.
And so everybody else were all like just young dudes that had no idea.
Yeah.
The eye-opening moment was when I moved down to Charleston and thought, hey, I've been doing a little bit of this jiu-jitsu stuff. I walked in there with a whole lot more confidence than I should have had. I think I tried to Americana the instructor from his closed guard.
All right then.
Yes. And I can still remember he giggled and then, swept me but by the end of that workout, I ended up puking. I got destroyed in that session.
Wow.
So it was one of those moments. It was like, holy cow. Okay. I really don't know shit yet.
Yeah.
And then in Boise, the time that I was able to train was based on my work schedule and everything was basically their competition practice.
Yeah.
And SBG back in those days, and still to to this day. There were guys fighting in Bellator. There were guys fighting, on the local circuits. It is a fighter's gym, and these guys were all good. And so I was just getting, not in a malicious way, but I was getting absolutely just wrecked every single round. Every time.
Oh, yeah.
Every round of every practice, I was getting absolutely murdered.
Yeah.
And after about 6 months of that, I was actually like starting to question, like, am I getting any better? Am I like, is this a thing that I can do, or am I just kind of cannon fodder for these guys?
Yeah.
And then one day a new guy came in, and I got paired up with him, and all of a sudden my stuff worked.
There it is. Yeah.
I was getting positions. I was, it was like, okay, all right. So I am learning something. I am getting better.
Yeah.
I'm just training with people that are a whole lot better than I am right now.
Oh yeah.
Which is good. That's a good thing if you understand that.
Yeah.
So, that's.
I think that's the biggest thing where you see a lot of guys quitting a lot. You go in and, they'll stick around for a month, maybe two, and then they can't get past the, excuse my French, getting their ass kicked. You know what I mean? Because it sucks. Yeah. It really sucks, man, until you realize what you're in, what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to figure that puzzle out, Well,
if you don't have a healthy ego, that's I've heard it a bunch of times. That douchebags get sorted out at the door, kind of.
Fast.
If you can't handle, and I know almost anybody else that's ever been on a podcast that has any experience in jiu-jitsu, if you cannot handle losing, over and over and over and over again, and if you can't recognize that it's just part of the process to improve, you're going to quit.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is getting into, I actually was just talking about this the other day, when that initial lust for training, like when that white belt is no longer super crispy anymore, you have to find reasons why you love this thing that you're doing, because it's difficult and you're losing a lot. And you got bumps and bruises and you're sore and all of these other things. You have to have a strong why you want to train and keep training, because eventually, like any new relationship, eventually that initial first excitement's going to leave.
It's going to leave, yeah.
So if you don't love it at that point, or understand what your goals are and where you want to go with it, then it makes it hard to keep going.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's important to understand, why you got into it in the first place. It's like a relationship. You got to put work into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When I joined, I've been in martial arts since I was 8 years old, and you mentioned Japanese jiu-jitsu, mine was Kodokan jiu-jitsu, was Japanese, third-degree black belt in that, coming up as a young guy and all that. And then you go into all these other arts. But every art that I went into, I made friends, and that kept me around for a long time. And so when I came to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as an older guy, I made some great friends, and because I understood the culture of martial arts. I didn't understand the culture of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because everywhere I went, I tried different places, because I always said, I want to learn this art. Everybody's, let me try this. I've done judo, I've done all those others, and I've done to, higher levels in those. And I said, let me try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But every school I went to, I tell you, I think this is one of the negative things about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It was just a gym full of meatheads, and they always wanted to test me when I walked through the door. And I'm like, I'm a white belt. I don't know any of this stuff. I want to learn this. And it became, he's, because you tell the instructor, I'm not just a sandbag. I'm telling the instructor, this is what I've done, but I want to learn this. And, oh, man, it was like just a light bulb. These guys were like, kill this guy. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not trying to fight. I'm here to learn, And then I found one school, Lake County Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I went there thinking the same thing's going to happen. I was just like, you know what, this is my last thing. I'm getting too old for this anyway. I want to try it. And I walked into a gym, and it just changed everything for me. I knew that was my home. The people were great. They beat me up with a purpose.
Yeah.
And we just became friends. And I think that's what kept me around the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, getting past, because there's not a lot of egos in there. You know what I mean? And like you said about egos, you got to be able to, taper that back.
Well, and every gym has a different flavor.
Yeah.
Every gym I've trained in has been unique in its own way. Whether it's the people, everywhere that I've gone, the people have generally been good.
Yeah.
And I've made good friends in each place that I've trained. But, if you are in your mid 40s or your 50, you may not want to train at the fighters gym that's putting guys in Bellator, right? Or the,
Exactly.
UFC in those kinds of places. Um,
Exactly.
we kind of chuckle in my little circle that, we're in a little bit of an older guy gym.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good thing, man.
uh, yeah, well, there's a lot of dudes that I'm training with that have gray hair like I do,
Yeah.
and we understand that none of us are going to be ADCC champions.
Yeah.
There are some guys in our gym that are heavy into competition and that's what they do, and they do very well.
Yeah.
But the gym is also big enough that you can train with guys that are kind of on your same wavelength and skill and speed.
Yeah.
And understanding we're going to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't know if you had the same feeling as I did. Being an older person going there, you're in there just trying to realize, hey, I'm just trying to stay in shape. I want to be active. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to fight for my life every day. I don't know if you had that, thinking like, you'll get injured a lot and all kind of stuff. Did that bother you at all?
It's obviously aging is something that everybody has to deal with, whether you're on
Yeah.
the mats or not, right?
Yeah.
The moment that maybe your son is now better at basketball than you are,
Yeah.
and you got to figure out other sneaky ways to beat him. So I think jujitsu is kind of the same thing. Your motivations and your goals for training might be different, but you are much more aware of your mortality.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
training in ways that you can be consistent, because it's not a sprint, it's not even a marathon, it's a lifetime endeavor if you want to train until the belt's been black.
Yeah.
So you have to train in a way that you can keep training tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's one of the kind of the questions that I have a lot, even for myself, is when it comes to competition. And I know that a lot of people are like, you have to be competing to be legitimate and da 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah.
I think that I will compete more, but I'm not. That's not the center of why I'm doing jujitsu.
Yeah.
Competition is not what that is, and the reason for it is if I go and compete and I get my arm snapped, or I tear something, or something that takes me off the mats.
Yeah.
Now I can't do the thing that I enjoy doing because
Yeah.
I wanted to do it there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I'm aware of that. I will compete more because I do like the idea of testing myself, but I'm not going to be one of those every weekend guys
Yeah.
that has to hit every competition and train super hard all the time.
Yeah.
There are classes where I coast. I coasted a little bit this week because my back was a little torn up, and
Yeah. I get it.
so take it easy. You still go, but you
Yeah.
you can choose your roles and you can choose your pace.
That's true.
So
But that was a challenge of mine, coming in or being older, working out, and you don't realize your mortality, as you were saying earlier. You do, it's there, but you're still trying to keep up with the young guys, and because you want to be a part of the team, you want to be there, and because if you don't show up, maybe this other guy doesn't have anybody to work out with that day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I was trying to go 3 or 4 days a week straight, and I just had to realize, this old body ain't gonna take all that, because you
yeah.
fall in love with these guys. You want to help these guys because you may not be the best guy out there, but you're trying to help those guys get better. But that was a hard part for me to not, I won't say step back, but to taper off a little bit, because I got to heal between the classes, the whole thing. Was that hard for you trying to step back a little? Not step back, but to realize all that.
Yeah, I think pacing's been critical. In my group, we have a guy that he is the dude that when he locks onto something, he is all in,
Oh
like
man!
both feet, and he'll drag you with if you're willing to go.
Wow!
But he's also in his 50s, and
Wow!
he was training. He was training probably 6 days a week. After already running and after lifting at lunch, he
Oh
would go to
man!
jiu-jitsu. And if you in
There's
our
some
group, we're like,
anomalies
dude,
out there, man. Hey.
you are gonna get it. Well, we told him a bunch. You have to let your body recover.
Yeah.
Eventually, he tore his shoulder up and had surgery, and
Yep.
kind of derailed some things. You know, as far as his progress went at the time, you know, he'll be back and everything, but I'm super aware of knowing that I have to take care of my body so that I can keep training. And some of that's recovery and some of that is pacing myself. I typically, personally, to my own detriment at times, I don't refuse a roll with anybody. And I think I get away with it because I'm not massive, but I'm generally one of the bigger people on the mats. So I can manage most people as far as like if it's a spazzy white belt or somebody new, or I can just kind of say, hey man, like I'm kind of banged up. Let's go slow if it's something experience. But I will say I dropped in at a couple gyms while I was traveling the last couple of weeks, and both gyms I got paired up at times with new white belts, and both of them need to cut their fingernails.
Oh man, that is the worst, man.
I had 3 tiger stripes across my face flying home from a kid, and this is not an indictment on any of the gyms that I visited. Fantastic gyms, instructors, great facilities, everything was great, but everybody has had an experience with a spazzy white belt that you know, may or may not have longer fingernails. I bled all over them. I'm like, man, again, but
just
both
clip
places.
Your nails.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That, and the biggest thing is we talk about our gym a lot is the clipping your nails and washing your gis. You know what I mean? Because wow. And it's funny because it's the young guys, you know, being a young guy and athlete, you just throw your gi in the bag and I'm going to stink it up anyway. So why wash it?
Oh yeah. God. And how long have you been training?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, 5 years.
Okay.
6 years.
So a decade ago, I mean, a lot of I'm not going to name the gym, but a lot of the guys that were training constantly, they wouldn't even take their gyms home. They would actually throw them over a rope at the end of training, and then they'd wear them again the next, But this is like, you know, and it smelled like a wrestling room. This
That's
gym,
old school.
Very old school. And this gym was honestly, so jiu-jitsu, we didn't even have a black belt at the time. And this is back when, I think this is in Idaho. There was one black belt in the state that I knew of. His name was Keith Owen, and he's actually passed away. He's had a great YouTube channel. I didn't train at his gym, but at what is now SBG, it's a wrestler's gym. Jesse Brock, Scotty Jorgensen, and Scott Tometz started that gym.
Yeah.
And Jesse Brock and Scotty Jorgensen were all Pac-12 wrestlers.
Oh wow.
And Scott Tometz was an Army Ranger, but with a wrestling background. It was very, very wrestling centric. Tometz had been a black belt for like 8 or 9 years and never got promoted because there were no black belts to promote him. He wasn't training under a black belt.
Wow.
And so eventually he actually went out to Portland and visited Matt Thornton and stayed out there for a few months to train up and earn his black belt under Matt Thornton, and then they affiliated. And now there's, probably, half a dozen black belts in that gym. We've all grown up.
That's good stuff, man.
Black belts were hard to find back in those days. And some of those old school things like not washing your gi, every time. Much different deal, man. Like it was heavy metal and it was a different day. Now I'm totally stoked that the gym I'm in, we clean the mats after every class. There's breath mints in the bathroom.
There you go. Mouthwash in there.
There is. There's literally mouthwash in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like our head coach at Gracie, Ohio, his name is Robin Giesler. And I train there because number one, he's a tremendous human being that I could, he's the guy I want to be, and that's the guy that and I'm not into like instructor worship or anything like that.
Oh, I get what you're saying. I get it.
But if I'm going to put this much time and energy into getting a black belt, I want the guy that's tying it around my waist to be somebody that I have 100% respect for. But cleanliness is an important thing in our gym. So you better have a clean gi. Don't come in there with coffee breath.
That's awesome.
You got to be clean.
But that's
So
pretty cool though, man. Because coming from traditional martial arts, like I said, since 8 years old, I don't think there's been a year that I've been off the mat somewhere in all my 39 years. I'm gonna stick with that age, all right? No, no
yeah,
one's putting a five in front of anything yet. But anyway, but what surprised me about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is it was literally the chewing gum and music playing on the mat. I was just thinking, because even when I had my own gym, I was taught traditional martial arts, the whole thing. So when I go learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm doing the whole bow, the yes sir, the whole. And I still
yeah,
do that. That's just who I am.
yeah,
But to see these guys playing, music in the background, rocking it out, chewing gum on the mat. When I'm rolling with guys, they got gum in their mouth. I'm thinking, does the instructor see this?
yeah,
That's crazy,
yeah.
man.
And that's another piece of every gym having a flavor.
Yeah,
That's I've been in both types, where you
yeah,
bow, you turn your back to retie your belt,
yeah,
you do all of those things.
yeah.
The nice thing where I'm at now is we are a white gi only gym,
Oh,
but
really? Okay.
as far as bowing and that kind of thing, if you choose to, go for it, but it's
Yeah.
not required. Tie your belt how you think your belt might stay on.
Okay.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not, some gyms kind of go like way far with it.
Yeah.
And if that's your flavor and that's your style, then great.
Yeah.
But
Do your thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we're not too strict on that stuff other than the
Yeah.
cleanliness, which
I,
is
I
good.
get it, man. Like I said, I say our gym is Lake County Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I did the bowing. I turned my back, tie the
Yeah,
belt. I still do that, and I say
yeah,
yes, sir, because the funniest thing to me was listening after instructors is a demo and a technique. Everyone's surrounding. Any questions? No one says anything, and I'm
hmm
the only one like, no, sir. Everybody.
yeah,
What's he doing? Or yes, sir, I
right,
have this again. And
yeah,
Carlos and Patty at first, I could tell they were just like, what is he doing? Now they just
yeah,
like, that's just Tony. You know.
yeah. And you know what? Keep it, man. If that's you,
Yeah.
you do you.
Yeah, that's a tradition, man. But the
Yeah,
cleanliness is big time, man. I tell you, smelling these geese and getting scratched up, man, it's crazy. Ugh.
it's important, man. You don't want staph, you don't want MRSA, you don't want you don't want the things that are going to take you off the mats.
Yeah.
And so some of that you gotta be clean.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
you
But
know, I
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut
Oh
you
no,
off.
it's
Go ahead.
fine. I mean, I'm a fairly sweaty fellow, so as much as I sweat,
Yeah.
I don't want to be bringing stuff and dripping dirty sweat on people and
Yeah.
yeah, stinking it up. The worst is if somebody has like cats or they smoke,
Oh,
um,
man. Yeah.
yeah, keep your geese clean, folks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll second
Yeah,
that, man. Keep them clean. Wash, brush your teeth, rinse out, do the whole thing.
yeah,
'Cause even in the back of my truck, I got the mouthwash before I walk in. I'm, spitting the mouthwash out. I wear cologne. I do the whole thing. Some guys tease me
yeah,
about my cologne and my detergent I use, but hey, at
yeah.
least you're not spelling no BO.
It's so funny. There's been a couple of times I don't even know what the detergent is that we have. My wife buys it, but um, more than once I've had people be like, "Your ghee smells really good." Like, okay,
Yeah.
great. You know,
As they're passing
yeah,
out from a choke.
yeah, yeah. So I would rather have that than, hey man, like deodorant works.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Exactly, man.
yeah.
But listen, going into Brazil at your age, now what age did you start? I mean, when you finally I know you said 20 years ago, but as you're starting to get more committed
I'll
to it.
say I got more serious about it in my 30s. I
Okay.
think and I think that I was going through stuff when I got out of the Marine Corps. I had
Yeah.
some PTSD. I had injuries. I had some things in my life that I needed to get squared away.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that in my younger years, and nothing terrible. I'm not a felon or anything, but
Not
and you
yet.
know what? If you're a felon, fine. Um,
Yeah.
but I was drinking a lot.
Yeah.
I had some troubles with relationships, and
Yeah.
and and so working through PTSD and those things, I had to work on myself. And
Yeah.
and when I realized that jujitsu could be a vehicle for improving my life, not, like I said, when I first started training jiu-jitsu, I thought I was learning to fight. I was thinking I'd compete in MMA and,
Yeah.
try these other things. But when I realized it was a vehicle for me mentally and kind of a therapy, and I'm not saying that therapy doesn't, traditional therapy doesn't have value. I think that it's absolutely legitimate. My mother's actually a counselor.
Okay, gotcha.
But
So's my sister.
jiu-jitsu for me is a vehicle for my own mental well-being more than it is physical. It has, not just the you have the camaraderie, right? We've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
The friendships that you make, the friendships that I've made on the mats are the most similar to the friendships that I had in the military.
Okay.
And I've thought about this. These friendships, and I've heard somebody else in jiu-jitsu talking about it. So this is not my original idea, but I love the idea. The friendships are built on trust and respect at its most base level. The first time you roll with somebody, trust and respect is a given, because you are trusting when you roll with somebody that they're going to let go when you tap.
Yeah.
You have respect that they're also mutually doing something that is difficult and hard. You know what it takes to be on the mats day in and day out.
Yeah.
And so you start with that as a base in your relationship, that you build a friendship off of that. And I don't think there's a purer way to do that. Now in the military, you trust your guys on your left and your right to have your back, to keep their barrels pointed down range.
Yeah.
And to keep you alive. And you also have the respect that they also volunteer, at least in the U.S., they volunteered to join the military, and they are serving alongside you, no matter what other differences, wherever else you came from, at its base level, you are both mutually suffering, right?
Gotcha.
So
yeah, you're right.
that trust and that respect is there. And so when you build friendships on that foundation, you're not going to find friendships like that in other places, at least not that quickly. So the next piece is some of the structure stuff, right? You have a thing, you have a goal, you have a mission. Athletes struggle with it. So if they've competed at high levels, whether it's collegiate or professionally, if you have always identified yourself as a football player, all the way through school, especially in college, or if you're one of those elite guys, what are you when you're done playing football? Right. So if you're in the military, if you're a Marine, which I know we're a Marine for life, but or you're a soldier or an airman or whatever, while you're on active duty, that's what your identity is, right? You're in uniform, oh, hey, he's a Marine, he's a soldier, she's an airman, whatever it is. You have this identity, and you've carried it for however many years, whether you do 4 years or you do 30.
Right.
There's a day where that stops. So your athletic career ends, your military career ends, you get out, and now who are you and what are you doing and what is your mission, right? And you don't want to fall into this trap where you feel like the best thing that you've done is now in the rear view. Yeah. Right? And we have a problem in the military, as far as the military and veteran community with suicide. About 7% of people in our country serve in the military, and we account for like 20% of the suicides.
Wow.
So I think a lot of it has to do with the transition and having an identity when you are no longer serving or no longer in a uniform. And so you have to find a purpose. You have to find things that you can orient yourself to and go at an objective or a mission or however you want to cut it. So if your mission is to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu, then go for that. If your mission is to be a CEO of a corporation, or you want to open your own company, you have to identify something and go after it. Yeah. Locate, close with, and destroy your enemy, right? Okay. So what I've found in jiu-jitsu is I have this thing that I'm trying to get good at. Okay. And it's hard and it's not easy, and it's not come naturally, you know. If it was easy, I probably wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I would lose interest.
Yeah.
And so I have a little bit of a mission to complete things that I've started. So I'm
Okay.
also finishing college finally. I'm going to go do an MBA. I'm in this
Wow.
phase of my life that I want to finish things that I've done, and I want to get to levels that I've idealized rather than given up on them. So jiu-jitsu for me, that's the vehicle. That's my why.
Okay.
Is I decided a long time ago that I wanted to get to the top of that mountain,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna keep climbing. I don't care if I'm 80 when I get there. I was a white belt for like 17 years, so
Hey, right?
it's whatever. I don't care. The belt and stripes and all that stuff. That's it's a measure of progress and that kind of thing. That's not the critical thing for me, but there is a goal to get up to that level. And one
That's
of the
good.
things that I can appreciate is to get to that level. It's difficult. It's it's I don't know how many people become black belts that started training. Is it
Oh,
1 in
small number.
10,000?
A small
Um,
number, man. Very small.
Extremely small.
Yeah.
And then at least among the people that I train with, the criteria to get to that rank, and I listened to my coach talk in other podcasts where, obviously it has to do with mastery of
Hmm.
jujitsu, the
Right.
physical aspect, but there's also a character and a mentorship and ability to teach piece of the puzzle when he would consider somebody for wearing that rank,
Okay.
because there's this responsibility with that rank that, you know, and frankly, I feel like every gym should be like this, because we know how hard it is to get to that level. If you've been training for any kind of amount of time, you know how good
Yeah.
black belts are,
Yeah.
and purple and brown and, some blues. We know how good they are and
Right.
how hard it was to get to those points.
Yeah.
Um, if you have a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, people are going to look at you in a way that demands respect, right? So you
Oh,
need to
yeah.
be a respectable person
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
carry that rank. And so that's another piece that's important to me, is
Yeah.
I know that it's a big mountain. Um I don't think that should be taken lightly, when you can't be say, I'm not a role model. Yeah, you are, because you
Yeah,
walk
you
into
are.
that gym and every freaking white and blue belt and everybody else is looking at you to be that role model, and then
Yeah.
especially if there's kids classes and things like that, all those kids are going to be learning from you,
You're
and
absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
so um, so I think the character piece is important too,
Yeah.
and you know that's another way that jujitsu sort of permeates through all the other parts of your life.
Yeah.
You want to have the character, and frankly, you know, you want to eat healthy. You don't
You
drink as
want to?
much,
Yeah.
because you know what? When you do, you get destroyed on the mats the next day. So
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
you're thinking about these things and how can I be healthy, and so it's
Yeah.
it's a vehicle for just optimizing yourself as a human being.
That's really cool, man. You pulled so much from that, man. That's pretty awesome, man. Now,
Yeah.
do you think a lot of that comes from your military background, or just where you're made?
Um, I don't know that it comes from the military background. I think, my military experience was kind of a wild one, man.
Okay.
Amphibious assault vehicles in the Marine Corps are uh, it's a rough life.
Okay.
It's I joke that taking the Marine Corps is like if you combined a fraternity with a prison population.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's, I mean, seriously, like you're pulling from people from all over the country and actually the world. We had a lot of guys that were from other countries serving in the military to earn citizenship.
Yeah.
Um, but some guys are coming from, this. I grew up in the mountains in Colorado. I was a poor little mountain kid.
Oh, wow.
Um, you got, I served in Iraq on my vehicle. We had a guy from the projects in Chicago.
Oh,
We
man.
had me from Colorado. We had a guy from the hills of Pennsylvania, and who am I leaving out? Ashcroft is up in Idaho.
Man, so just all around. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we all have to kind of coexist. So you have obviously, like I said, the trust and respect aspect where, we're all wearing the same uniform, doing the same job. But there's also a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of us didn't necessarily grow up with the strongest home lives or role
Yeah.
models or those kinds of things. We came from rough situations, a lot of us,
Yeah.
and then you throw us all into a barracks, or you go to the field. You're in the middle of the desert. That's what you have, and this is who you are. And so a lot of fights, a lot of rough housing, a lot
Yeah.
of there was a lot of drinking, and then you go to combat. Um,
Wow.
and actually, I think we had fewer Marines died in the first year of the war in Iraq than we did in the last year of peace. Um,
Really?
and so we joke that
Wow.
combat's somehow safer for us.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
because
Oh,
guys weren't
man.
out crashing cars and
Yeah.
doing all the other stupid stuff that 18 to 20-year-old men and women
Yeah.
do.
I
I
get it.
speak from a standpoint on the military experience as far as men go, because it was back in those days, it was an all male unit.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to have our jobs. Um, and only 7% of the Marine Corps is female,
Okay.
in general. But yeah, so you have a bunch of dudes with,
Yeah.
you know, some Spartan rules.
Yeah.
And yeah, so kind of a crazy time. And then I think I also had some stuff growing up that were difficult.
Mm.
I had a biological father that wasn't really involved. And he ended up spending a good portion of my childhood in prison.
Wow. Mm.
Uh, I had a mother who had me when she was a teenager.
Mm.
Um, and she was waiting tables and driving school buses to try to keep a roof over our heads.
Wow.
She dealt with some very difficult relational challenges.
Yeah.
I actually remember being in battered women's shelters with her when I was a little
Wow.
kid. So there was a lot of
Wow.
difficult and challenging things that I kind of came up with.
Yeah.
And then you also throw that military experience on top of it.
Yeah.
And then, even in my civilian life, man, I had a lot of stuff that I had to learn.
Yeah.
My maturity took some time. And
Okay. That's okay.
so eventually I settled down
Yeah.
and I've been able to raise a couple of kids and um, you know, I'm married and have
Yeah.
a great job and career, and um, I'm in a place in my life where uh, I would never have gotten to if I didn't decide at some point that I can either give up,
Yeah.
um, or I can crawl up and out.
Wow.
And I would say that was about it. That probably around the time that I was in that motorcycle accident. Um,
Really?
yeah, I was at the lowest point in my life at that point in my life.
Wow.
It wasn't just the motorcycle accident. I was going through a very rough divorce,
Hmm.
custody battles, and I was part of the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, at least you can admit that, right? That's good. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think everybody. When marriages break up and those kinds of things, yes, you can have you can have a major event that maybe one party was a part of, but
Yeah.
it always takes two to tango.
That's what
And
I always say. Yeah. Absolutely right.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, I had some stuff to figure out, and I wasn't
Yeah.
dealing with things the right way. I was
Yeah.
drinking a lot, and so that accident, I was drinking. Um,
Oh, wow.
so it came with a DUI.
Yeah.
Um, I ended up eventually I checked myself into the VA, um, and took a month inpatient to get my head straight.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Uh, this is a little deeper than I was expecting to
That's
to
okay,
put on the
brother.
internet, but
People need to hear
um,
you, man.
we'll go with it.
You'll help
Um,
some people. I promise you. I guarantee it.
so yeah, so I went through like a residential substance abuse
Yeah.
program,
Yeah.
and a lot of it, I don't know that I was, I wasn't doing drugs, but I really had to figure some things out because the alternative was going to put me in the grave.
Okay.
I was riding my motorcycle in a way that would have killed me.
Wow.
Um, and I got lucky that all I had was a broken leg and,
Yeah.
a DVT clot. Um,
Wow.
and, so when I finished that, yeah, I decided I could, I could either get my shit together or I could freaking flame out. And,
There you go.
so I made a decision that, I'm gonna go be a better dad, a better person.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Work hard, improve.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a career at that point in my life.
Yeah.
I'd left defense contracting, and so so I started that, and now I'm gonna finish school. Like I said, I'm a software engineer
That's awesome.
with a large tech company, IBM.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been able to raise kids. I adopted my stepson, who's now in college himself, and he's doing great.
Awesome.
My
Awesome.
older son is also doing great things, and he's
That's
married,
cool.
and he's navigating early adulthood.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've done is I've gotten involved with a couple of nonprofits over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I spent a few years on the executive board for a group called Task Force 20.
Okay.
And I'm no longer on their board, but great people. What that does is that gets veterans involved in physical fitness as a way to cope
Okay.
with depression and those things.
That's pretty
Um,
cool. That's task for, what is it
yeah,
called
yeah.
again?
It's called Task Force 20. It's
Task for 20.
tf20.org.
Okay.
Um,
TF.org.
it
Okay.
was started by a guy here in Ohio. His name's Jason Graven,
Okay.
Army veteran. Also struggled with some post service PTSD and those things.
Yeah.
And then recently I got involved with the We Defy Foundation and
Okay. Yeah.
ambassador with them, and I'm going to take on some other roles. I'm helping them with some of their scholarship administration. And
And what is Redefy all about? Because a friend of mine also, he's a member that he owns ACES Training Center out in Illinois.
Okay.
And it's a Brazilian
So
Jiu-Jitsu
We
black belt.
Defy, what they do is combat veterans who are at least 80%, rated 80% disabled through the VA.
Okay.
They will provide jiu-jitsu scholarship for new students. So
Really?
what they'll do is they'll pay for your gym dues, as well as they'll also upfront get you a couple of gis, or if you're at like a 10th Planet or something, they'll get you a couple of no-gi kits,
Wow.
so that you can start training.
That's
Because we
cool.
recognize that jujitsu is absolutely a um, a great thing for veterans, especially
Yeah.
the disabled ones. And
Yeah.
we,
Wow.
at We Defy, we call, we refer to our members as athletes. Um, so getting athletes into jujitsu, um, to get started and really learn what it's all about. It's a
Yeah.
transformative thing. We Defy last year raised over $1 million. They've got 900 affiliate gyms around
Wow.
the world at this point.
Yeah.
They currently have over 600 veterans currently on scholarship, so they're
That's
paying all
pretty
their
awesome, man.
tuition.
Wow.
They've got them in gyms. Gyms can
Wow.
be affiliated, and they get evaluated. We vet the gyms
Yeah.
that can be affiliated, and we'll do fundraising and those things, but we'll also place athletes in these gyms and provide mentorship, so that it's not just a thing where we're throwing a guy in a gym and, hey, go swim, bro.
Yeah,
Um,
right?
yeah, so they'll have a mentor that'll get assigned to them so that, there's checking in so they can bounce questions off. Hey, this is what this is like for me, is,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. And we bring people into the community.
Okay.
Yeah, so at least right now there's at least 600 of them out there training a couple times a week.
That's
Um,
pretty cool. Oh,
it-
wow. I commend you on
so
that because, like I said, my buddy does that too. I didn't know much about it. I just, he was talking
yeah.
about We Defy, and I was, oh, awesome. I'm not a military guy, so I didn't know anything about it, but he's a military, a retired vet also, like yourself,
Yeah. And,
That's pretty
you
cool.
know, I think that it cannot be stated enough the benefits that you get from a mental and psychological standpoint to grappling,
Yeah.
and jiu-jitsu. I think your brain releases all kinds of great chemicals when you have human interaction and
Yeah.
contact. Um, and so it's something that is helping veterans at a minimum. And again, it's
Yeah.
not a replacement for other kinds of therapy,
Right.
but this does not hurt.
At all. At
No,
all.
it's been instrumental in my own growth as a human being. And
Wow.
so, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome
So,
that you're doing all that, man. You're giving back so much, to everyone. That's commendable.
well, I think that there were times in my life where I needed help and maybe didn't know where to go and get it. I was grateful that I was able to get some help with the VA when I was going through that season of my life.
Yeah.
And then now that I'm in a spot where, I don't need any help. Well, I probably do. But when I don't need that kind of help,
There you go. There you go.
yeah, it's good to give back, and it's good to help other people, especially when you see that they're struggling. That one of the reasons I started this little, the way you met me on TikTok, the still rolling concept. It started out, I was just messing around with AI and Chat GPT and throwing things in there. I was like, man, I bet it could help you like make a podcast and, these kinds of things. These ideas started rolling. And then I started thinking about it. I said, there is so much content on the internet as far as jiu-jitsu content where it's all about these elite guys, and that's great. And I watch plenty of
I
it.
watch a lot of those, but it is. You're right. You're right.
But for every one of those guys that's at ADCC and going to, IBJJF Worlds, there's a dozen more guys like me, middle-aged dads,
Yeah.
military veterans, law
Yeah.
enforcement guys,
Yeah.
soccer moms that love jiu-jitsu too. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to start putting out a positive message, where it's not I think there's some toxic culture, like any other hobby
Anything
or
else,
any other thing. There's some gatekeeping that I see on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I can be putting out some sort of a positive message that maybe opens that gate for the guy that was thinking about it, or the woman that would be way too scared to walk into a jiu-jitsu gym without somebody saying, hey, no, it's going to be all right. You can go in there. You're not going into a fight.
Yeah.
Your training partners are going to, they want you to get better.
Yeah.
They want you to improve because they want more good training partners. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. They're not just going to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then,
That's cool.
I don't want
man.
white belts to quit.
So
So
that's cool, man.
Yeah,
I love that.
and honestly, I would have done it before.
Yeah.
But I'm just a blue belt, and so I was like, man.
But most people think that, but you have a lot to offer. We have a lot to offer at Blue Belts, man. You have a lot to offer, man.
There's some perspective there, right?
Yeah, big time.
There's another podcast called My White Belt Podcast.
I heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing took off when he started it. He was only a few episodes in, and there were a lot of people listening to him.
Oh yeah.
Great podcast.
Yeah.
But obviously that message resonates because there's so many of us that are training that are not going to go be competing in CGI, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
exactly. That's pretty unique,
we put
man.
some positivity in the world. I think that makes everybody better.
Well, like I said, I love the stuff you're putting out there, man. Big time. The same reason I started Old Man on the Mat. What's the name? Old Man on the Mat. You're out there trying to stay alive, man. I love the stuff you're putting out there, man. Still rolling, BJJ. I watch you a lot. I'm sure if you can see who's looking at your stuff, I'm on there looking at it. Every time it pops up, I'm saying, what's he saying today? Okay.
Yeah. And I need to be more consistent. I'm very much a white belt when it comes to social media influencer kind of content
Who we
creator
influencing, man?
Right? My podcast use had always been kind of a personal, just my personal page and that kind of thing. So I'm learning as I go. Hopefully it'll get better over time.
It will.
And
it will.
And again, what I've seen, even with just the first, I think I started that account maybe 2 months ago. Um, I've got 1,000 followers, like 1,100, 1,200, something like that.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of people reaching out in my DMs asking me questions about,
That's
first
awesome, man.
days, walking in. So if I can help one guy get into jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
or maybe not quit,
Yeah.
then making a couple of minutes of videos is well
That's all
worth it.
right. Yeah,
So
man. That's good stuff, man. I commend you, man. I'm glad, after watching your stuff, I never knew anything about you, but watching your stuff, I was like, this guy's got a good head on his shoulder. Good
I
stuff.
appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the service you've done out there, man. The things you've done for your country, the things you've done for your other military guys out there. Keep it up, brother. Keep it
Thank
up,
you very
man.
much.
But, before you get out of here, man, because I know you got other things to do, maybe go back to the mat. I don't know. But you got other things to do. Tell everyone how they can find you, man.
So TikTok and Instagram, still rolling BJJ is how you can find me. My Instagram, I'll be honest, I have not put as much energy into it. I haven't gotten traction there yet. So the TikTok side of things is where I'm posting more consistently.
Yeah.
I am going to start recording a podcast here
All right.
shortly.
Good stuff, man.
I'm kind of laying out some things like that. I'll probably record a few episodes ahead of when I actually start releasing something so that I can get a consistent schedule going
Yep.
for folks if they choose to listen.
There you go.
And frankly, those are the best. Still rolling BJJ is the best place if you are just starting in jiu-jitsu, or you're thinking about starting in jiu-jitsu, or you've been training 20 years and you like what I'm talking about and you wanna rap with me. Just reach out. I'm happy to talk to anybody about jiu-jitsu. You can ask my wife.
She's like, "Are you done yet?"
Yeah, she's when I told her I was doing a podcast, she goes, "Somebody asked you to talk about jiu-jitsu this time." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, yep, yeah."
That's
Because
good
I
stuff,
don't
man.
shut up about it. It's really truly my favorite thing in the world.
But that's okay, man. That's okay. That's your passion, man. Everyone else talks
Yeah,
about their passion. What's wrong with us talking about our passion? You know what I mean?
nothing at all.
And nothing
Nothing
at
at
all.
all.
Well, that's good. Hey, before we go, does your wife train with you at all or no?
She doesn't.
Okay.
And I ask her to all the time.
You?
But she's got her own stuff that she does.
Yeah.
She does a little bit of boxing.
Oh, wow.
She is super consistent on the Peloton
Yeah.
and lifting and the close contact thing. She just it's not her
I
her
get
deal.
it, man.
So so I've accepted that. She just has to tolerate me talking about it all the time.
If she loves you, she'll listen, and I think she does.
Well,
Right?
honestly, if I get cranky, she tells me to go train. She can
That's
tell,
good.
like if I haven't had a chance to train for a few days, I think my mood shifts a little
Yeah.
bit, and she'll look at me and she'd be like, "Go to the gym." So,
I love
uh,
you, but get
yeah,
out.
yes, go. It's time. Go
That's
train.
cool, man. That is
So
cool.
yeah, and actually, when we first started dating, it was probably our very first date. I said, "Jiu-jitsu is this thing that I like to do."
Yeah.
And that's a non-negotiable. Like that
Wow.
that was set from the jump.
Really? How'd she take it?
Fine, we're married now. So
Yeah, there you go. Duh. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and that we can get into a whole thing about boundary setting and everything. But yeah, that was a thing where, this is a thing that I'm doing. And so yeah, when we dated, I said this is it's important to me.
Yeah.
And she has never ever, tried to shut any of that down. Sometimes she rolls her eyes if I'm going like,
Well, that's okay.
fourth meeting of the week. A lot of people don't realize how many nights spouses that don't train, have to put up with their spouses going to train.
Yeah.
There's some time away from family and some sacrifice there. But if you have a partner that is supporting you and understands what you're doing, then great.
That's healthy, man. That's good. You got to
Yeah.
have things that separate from each other.
Yes, you
Good
do.
time. It helps a
Yep.
lot, man. Makes you miss each
Yeah.
other. There you go. You got to miss each other.
Yeah, right. Absence. Yeah.
Oh man, Matthew, you're awesome, brother. Hey, I got to pick me up a white gi to come out to your gym and train when I come out there again.
Yeah.
All I
and
have
we
are
have
black
rentals
gis.
too. Yeah. So we have rental keys too when we have people drop in.
Are they clean? No, I'm just joking.
They are clean. So
Just
again,
joking.
we have Gracie, Ohio is probably the nicest gym I've ever trained in.
Really? Okay.
It's very nice. They moved, I want to say 3 years ago
Okay.
from their old site, so much bigger site. We have two huge mats.
Oh, wow.
We have Gracie, Ohio's been around for 30 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
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 So the guy that started it with Robin, his name is Dr. Hudson. He was actually the first American-born Coral Belt promotion.
Okay.
And he was one of the original financiers of the first UFC. Was part of that
Wow.
Gracie train going into that first.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So we are definitely the oldest jiu-jitsu gym in Ohio. And,
Okay.
as far as length and time in business, and that's allowed us to build a great gym and
Good stuff.
fantastic mats, fantastic instructors, whether it's Robin or Mike or Matt or any of these other guys. We've got a ton of great coaches, and I can't say enough great things about where I train.
All right. That's awesome, man. That's good stuff, brother. Hey, when I get out there.
And it's in Lexington, so if you're coming out here, you got to train.
You're right there. So I go out there quite a bit, so I will definitely look you up, brother, and we'll get a little roll on the mat, and I'll allow you to tap me out. Allow you to. You see this? Allow you to.
It'd be a little war of attrition, maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm extremely average. So.
Yeah. Join the club, brother. That's always something below average when it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but hey, they call me the tapper because I tap fast.
Hey, that's the key to longevity.
There it is, my brother. Well, good stuff, man. I appreciate you once again, man. Thanks for coming on, man. We'll talk soon, brother.
All right, man. See you.
Take care of yourself.
Oh, man.